Say, do us a favor, like, subscribe, and or follow this. What?
You're asking for a favor again? You're going to come off as needy.
I'm on a favor fever.
Do
I'm
more assertive.
I have some fervor for favors.
Fervor.
That's me.
Fine.
Fantastic.
Far out.
Finally.
No, can't go there.
No, you can't do that. In any case, please like, subscribe, and or follow This Is True Really News on YouTube, Anchor FM, Spotify, Amazon Music, or Breaker. And please extol the virtues of This Is True Really News to all your friends and family.
Holy crap. If we're extolling,
we're going to button up.
This is True, Really News with Scott Combs and Tony Vercanis. All the news you're about to hear is true, as far as you know.
I have sort of animal stories.
They're sort of animals or they're sort of stories?
Yes.
Okay.
They're sort of stories concerning aminals.
All right.
Well, things not human in one case. What's an iguana? That's the second story.
It's a lizard.
Is that a lizard?
Yes.
Is it a mammal or is it a lizard?
No, they're lizard. But their feet are warm.
I don't want to know how you know that.
Ran across my feet. That's how.
Don't want to know. A California man's been arrested after allegedly firing his gun in the air to prevent a neighbor's dog from mauling his pet duck.
Actually, I think that's probably a pretty good idea. If you want to save the life of the duck.
Did you hear the first part?
What?
A California man.
Oh, how do you get the gun?
Exactly. Escalon police said they responded to reports of gunshots and arrested the culprit, Clinton Winston, who was later charged with reckless endangerment stemming from willfully discharging a firearm in a grossly negligent manner.
Straight up?
Police. I don't know how he fired it, but
okay.
What most people don't realize is when you shoot a gun in the air, the bullet's not going to the moon.
No, it comes down somewhere.
You're going to come back somewhere.
But it comes back at terminal velocity, not at the velocity it leaves the muzzle. So it's going to go plink.
Yeah.
The bullets are kind of light.
Yeah.
No worse than hail. Small hail, for that matter.
Yeah.
All right, shut up, Reed.
And Alan Hale Jr., who was my favorite on the Gilligan's Island.
Of course he was.
The bizarre... He was.
Well, my favorite was Ginger, especially when I was a teenager.
I like Mary Ann. I can't.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Don't even get me going on that.
But if you want to email us and tell us what couple works out for you, I still think it's Gilligan and Mary Ann.
Mary Ann and the professor.
Nope. Gilligan and Mary Ann. The professor ends up alone because the skipper ends up with Ginger. A man of action.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Or... because it was in the 60s, maybe the skipper ends up with the professor and Mr. Howell and Mr. Howell ends up with Ginger on the side.
Well, you know.
Wow, that took an ugly turn real quick.
Yeah.
Where was I now? California man firing gun, protecting pet duck.
There we go.
Yeah. Gross, negligent fire. The bizarre incident occurred around 9:15 in the morning. The neighbor's dog allegedly bit Wilson's pet duck, reportedly leaving the fine feathered friend with a broken leg.
Oh.
Upon noticing his duck buddy unable to walk, the aggrieved.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Reportedly went into his house and retrieved his .38 caliber pistol. Per the police report, he then left his house with the said pistol and proceeded to shoot the weapon in the air and yell at his neighbor.
So the ruckus was already over. The duck was not in imminent danger.
I don't know how this all went.
It sounds like the duck was injured and the dog is now leaving it alone.
I don't know.
If that's the case, he is in trouble.
Sergeant Gustavo Flores of the Escalon Police Department told CBS that Mr. Wilson had fired the gun to scare the dog and Dennis away from his pet after seeing the canine leap over the fence. Nonetheless, the officer called the bird owner's actions reckless, adding it was lucky that Wilson's warning shots didn't hit anybody on the way down. The dog was taken to an animal shelter and eventually returned to its owner, who was actually cited for keeping an unlicensed pet and letting it run at large.
At least he didn't shoot the dog into the air.
Nope. But can you think if Mr. Wilson of Dennis the Menace fame had a gun?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
He'd have killed a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Belgian
And
e-cigarette.
half of the world would have cheered. That's the sad.
Belgian e-cigarette shop owner.
Do you suppose that Dennis the Menace was the prototype for Calvin?
In a sense, Calvin is Dennis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
That would make Hobbs Mr. Wilson. Yikes.
Belgian e-cigarette shop owner going by only his first name, Didier,
It's kind of cool to have just one name.
deserves a medal or something. Excuse me.
Metallurgy, what?
A medal or something.
Ah, I thought it said metallurgy. And I
See,
thought,
recently, half a dozen
really-
armed robbers popped into his shop at about mid-afternoon, ready to rob the place blind. Didier, trying to buy some time, told the not-so-terribly bright crew that 3 p.m. is not the best time to rob him. They should come back later when he'd likely have more money in the till.
tell me they
To his surprise,
did.
the robbers agreed it was a good idea and said they'd check with him later. Didier, not being an idiot, calls the police.
Let me guess. He told them a good time to be at his store.
Right, but they didn't believe him. So now it's 5:30 and the Wild Bunch is back. What does Didier do? Go ahead, take a guess. What does Didier do?
Tells them to come back at 6.
Generally, he scolds them. You guys need to buy a watch. Come back at 6:30 when the shop is about to close.
Oh.
Once
Duly
again,
chastised, they slunk out the door.
basically. And this time the cops sent over some plainclothes police. Sure enough, the hard-bitten buffoons of Belgian crime made their third appearance of the day and were rounded up.
I now understand why Hercule Poirot left. His little gray cells would have died chasing criminals like that.
We're crying out for smart criminals. That's all.
Animal story number 2
Okay.
involves Haley Morinico. Haley did not hesitate when she saw a large bear facing off with her family dogs from the top of a wall in their Southern California backyard. She went inside, grabbed a .38 caliber pistol, and
With a bear?
mixing up my stories.
She grabbed. Oh, okay.
The 17-year-old actually just ran outside and shoved the bear, rounded up her dogs, went back inside her house, which is in suburban Bradbury, east of Los Angeles. Home surveillance video aired by ABC 7 television shows the mother bear perched atop the wall, swatting at a large black dog on the ground. 2 bear cubs are seen behind the bear, while 4 smaller dogs do what smaller dogs do, yippee-yapping and darting all over the place.
Right.
So Haley sprints toward the bear, using both hands, pushes the large bear off the wall, picks up one of the smaller dogs. She and other dogs then exit the video frame. The bear disappears over a wall into a neighbor's yard. Honestly, she said, the only thing I had in mind was to protect my dogs. Oh, I think when you think about it, young lady. The teen said she escaped with a sprained finger and a scraped knee, but wouldn't advise anyone to follow her example. You know, unless you have a blue suit, a cape, and an S on your chest, do not push bears and do not get close to bears. She told KCAL, you do not want to get unlucky. I just happened to come out unscathed.
When did she realize she was shoving a bear is what I want to know.
My guess is moments later. When the adrenaline, when the adrenaline wears off,
Yep. Well,
and all of a sudden you start shaking uncontrollably going, what is wrong with me?
here's the thing that kills me. You basically had 2 mama bears
Yes.
there, right? She was protecting her furry
Protecting
kids.
her pups and
Yeah. Oh,
See,
my goodness.
never met. Rob had that happen in the Boundary Waters.
Oh, yeah?
They saw bear cubs off in a raspberry field that they were picking raspberries in. And Rob looked and they all looked and it's like, let's back slowly away from the raspberry. And Mom was just across the road in the other one.
Yeah.
They all backed out very politely. Mom went over, gathered her cubs, and left.
Good deal. Yeah, most of the time bears aren't aggressive.
No, they were more worried about the moose.
As you should be. Mooses are crazy.
Bullwinkle's dangerous in the wild.
Dateline 1955, Jonesboro, Arkansas.
I wasn't even alive yet. This must be really old.
A woman pulled into a service station and informed the attendant she suspected the person in the vehicle behind her was drunk. and had been following her too closely. He'd been right on her bumper the whole way to the gas station. Turns out the guy behind her was an empty pickup truck. She'd locked bumpers with the truck and had been towing it around town. Police charged her with driving while intoxicated.
Oh, that's as bad as honey, there's water in the carburetor. Dear, there can't be water in the carburetor. Well, there is, and the car won't start. Fine, where's the car now? In the pool.
Right. You didn't give me all the pertinent details there.
Buried the lead, ma'am. Buried the lead.
This is true, really news. Send email to TiTR@netradio.network.